hurricane, a tidal wave. Essence perfect, life looks brilliant. Give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. Yeah, you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light it's got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Can get you out of my head again. Is it wrong? Is it right? It's like I've won my final war without a fight. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. I know you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light it's got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Can get you out of my head, get you out of my head again. I am in misery. Everyone is watching me when I'm coming around. They all are judging me when I'm lying on the ground. I've got no shelter, I've got no escape. My life is a prison and I can't run away. I feel it in my bones, I'm losing it all. Stuck in my head, I am in misery. Deep inside myself, all I get, my only family. Stuck in the grave, can someone rescue me? I'm burning alive, I got it, I am in
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the No Mercy Preview Show. I am, of course, OLED Ed Fries. This is the natural Astridpizarro, the queen of our local establishment, as she absolutely loves and doesn't hate it when I say it at all. Thank you, Mark Talks Wrestling, for giving me that one. I greatly appreciate it. And Miss Astrid, can you please introduce us to our guest predictor for this preview show?
I mean, for those of you that watch us, I wasn't saying on a daily, but on a daily on a weekly. You know that whenever we do have a paper, we'd like to bring in our friends and guests so we can work with them and have some fun and talk wrestling whenever we get to see. So today we do have a very special guest. We have streamer and gamer, and I don't know what else to say because she does so many things. But I'll start with those two for now. The one and only Miss T. How are you doing today?
I am wonderful, and thank you for such an awesome introduction because I do wear a lot of hats. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm ready to get started.
One of my favorite, as we talked about in the pre-show, 2K Next Maker as well. So if you want all your information on the latest 2K games as they start creating those, whether it be NBA, whether it be Top Golf, whether it be WWE 2K25, as the production season gets started to head over towards that direction as we get ready, because in January we'll be getting our, hopefully, latest updates on the brand new game as they get ready to start coming out. There's where you go get all your info. We're going to go ahead and throw her socials down to the bottom throughout the show. How excited are you for NXT's No Mercy?
Oh my God, so excited. Like, words can't even describe it. I love NXT. It's my favorite brand out of all three. I always get a lot of heat for that, but I don't care. And No Mercy, like the matches, they're so good this year. Like they're good, every year, but this one I'm so excited for because there are a lot of new superstars getting new opportunities. It's so good.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And let's go ahead and get started with that wonderful predictions. Well, no, we're not going to start there. Sorry, Joe. It's not time for you yet. Calm down, Joe. We're going to start with my favorite boy, the man who I adore on NXT more than anybody else, Femi, defending his North American Championship against the Dawn of NXT, Tony D'Angelo. The ruler versus the Dawn. Miss T, why don't you go ahead and get us started? What do you think about this match? Who do you think is coming out of the title?
This one is one of those that you would think you would know who's going to take it, but anything can really happen here. My mind is saying Femi without a doubt, but my heart's like, wait a minute, Tony D'Angelo kind of deserves something here. But I'm going to stick to my guns and I'm going to say Femi keeps it. He has been killing it lately. I think that he's an incredible North American champion. He's still pretty hot. The momentum is still in his park. As much as I love Tony D and the family, I think they'll have him fight a little bit more before he actually gets this.
Astrid?
Yeah, I'm on the same boat. Like, I wish I could say Tony because I really enjoy Tony and his work and what the family's doing. But Obafemi he's such on a good track right now. I wouldn't derail that anytime soon for as like this, especially on a pay-per-view like No Mercy. I would do it on a bigger stage if anything happens. So that's why I'm sticking with Oba retaining. But at this point, thinking who's going to dethrone this guy because I'm running out of names. We're running out of names at this point if you think about it this way in the brand. So that's going to be tricky in the future. But definitely sticking with Oba.
I mean, when the D'Angelo family, no, not this D'Angelo family, but the other D'Angelo family can get involved, you never know what can happen. But Obafemi is just so fantastic. I've loved this man ever since I saw him in a preview package throwing a couch. I was instantly done to him. This is, as I've always said, he is what WWE wanted Omos to be. He is just a big wall of a man who can talk, who can have some fun. He has some swagger. He has that it factor that they've been looking for a long time in a new talent. The fans have taken to him like a duck to water. He's taken to the business like a duck to water. He's been on main event already, less than 2 years into his career. They already have him doing dark matches on main event. We just saw the picture from a couple weeks ago where they showed the Raw superstars all going through stuff, before the show, before the fans get in the arena. And Obafemi's there, talking it up with all the superstars ringside. I'm not going to bet him against him until he already loses. So I'm going to go with Obafemi, but it's going to be a fun match. Tony D'Angelo is, as everybody else says, absolutely fantastic. So that's 3 Obafemis, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Let's get to a match that's going to divide Astrid a little bit here. Chase U defending the NXT Tag Team Championships against the former champions. They call themselves Fraxium. We call them Naxium here on Taking Over. Astrid, are you going to be able to not cheer for the man in the mask?
Why? Why is this happening? I didn't ask for this. It's hard to root against them, but I just don't see Chase U losing. Sorry, I said it. You can go on. Okay. I'll leave it there.
I kind of agree. I don't see any reason to have Chase U lose here. The heel turn's coming. Chase U, I'll say it every Tuesday. Every week, Andre Chase is still in red and black, and everybody else is in black and red. There's a reason why that color scheme hasn't changed for Chase. He's going to get turned on. It's going to break our hearts. He's going to have something bad happen to him. That being said, this isn't the time. I think if we see any turn here, it is going to be either Frazer or Axiom making the turn. And I think we're definitely going to see the retained and still NXT Tag Team Champions with Chase U.
I totally agree. I think you guys nailed it with this one. I don't see Chase U losing it this soon. They just got it. And we already seen some bickering back and forth when Nathan kind of wanted to do his own thing, and it's those little details I feel like with NXT you kind of got to keep track of because they will show up later on, and we're gonna see that at No Mercy.
Yeah, and again, just because some of these matches, most of these matches, I feel are relatively predictable, doesn't mean this isn't going to be a banger of a show. These matches are going to deliver every single one of them, no matter how predictable or unpredictable the match might be.
Absolutely. I think especially with this tag team division, very underrated. I feel like every time Axiom and Nathan Frazer get into that ring, no matter who it's up against, it's a banger. You know, very underrated too. I feel like sometimes this tag team division could be a little overshadowed by some of the other matches we look forward to, but they're always great matches.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's 3 Chase Shoes. Moving on to our first women's match of the night. We got 2 women's matches out of 6 on the card. NXT continuing to deliver women's matches on the regular. Wendy Choo is trying to take Kelani Jordan's Women's North American Championship. I'm torn. I said predictable. I said predictable, and I mean it because 4 out of these 5 are no-brainer. 4 out of the 6 of these are no-brainers. One of them's probably a no-brainer, but it could go either way. And then you've got this. I think Kelani should be losing this championship to Jaida Parker. I think Jaida Parker should be the next one to carry this championship. However, they've done a really good job making me think Wendy Choo is going to take this title from Kelani.
Yeah, I gotta agree.
I'm gonna go Kelani, but I'm really not sure. Miss T?
I'm torn on this one. I feel like the way Kelani is going, it's like you kind of know she's not losing it for a while, but this is one of those ones where you're like, wait a minute, you know, the way they've built this up, you know, we see a new side of Wendy Choo. I'm super torn. I want to say, oh my God, kind of want to go Wendy, but I don't see Kelani losing. Let's go Kelani on this one just to be safe, but I wouldn't be surprised if Wendy takes this in some spooky way. Yeah, this one has me torn for sure.
I'd love to see Rosemary come back again after her unfortunate appearance on NXT. Seems like she had a ton of fun, so good for her. She had a ton of fun. I wish that they wouldn't have. I don't want to say jobbed her out the way they did on Tuesday, but it feels like they jobbed out Rosemary relatively easily, and that feels that it has a feel bad moment of it. But for this match, we have to go to our our good friend and our own resident Wendy Choo down there in the bottom, the sleepyhead herself, Miss astridpizarro. What do you got here? What are you thinking?
I'm very torn about it too, just because I feel like that title is helping Kelani. It's giving her confidence that she didn't have in her promos. So I want her to build up that confidence and keep that going. But at the same time, it's like we get this, this new-ish character from Wendy, and it's like, and it's going well. So you're like, let's reward her kind of mentality right now, just because I feel like she really hasn't had anything for her, like in that aspect in NXT so far. But at the same time, I'm thinking we still have somebody like Tatum that's lingering around, because Tatum is still a part of this somehow because of the attack from Wendy and the doll situation. So I was wondering, what if Tatum gets involved in here somehow? Who would she help? I don't know, because it could go either way, to be honest. But what if she gets involved in this too, because she still loves she loves her gold, and she didn't get to have it before. So I feel like that's also a possibility there that we could kind of put as another option. But I'm very torn about this one, because I feel like it will be fun to have Wendy as champion to see what she does, and I would like to see something like that, because we haven't been able to see anything like that before. I don't know. I'm gonna go a little wild prediction and say Wendy, just to see what happens.
All right, we finally got our first diversion. 2 Kelani Jordans, 1 Wendy Choo, if my math is adding up. It's going to be fun either way. To a match that got more interesting last night with the potential of what they could do with it. The new TNA X Division champion, Zach Wentz takes on Wes Lee, and in a match like this match feels like it's a no DQ match. This match feels like it's some kind of a street fight. It's apparently being billed as a match, so I really hope there's some kind of stipulation gets added to this. Miss T, what you thinking here between Wes Lee and Zach Wentz?
I feel like Wes Lee can afford this loss, to maybe help elevate his former quote unquote friend just a little bit more, especially with the momentum he has over at TNA. I just wonder if WWE would have a TNA person defeat one of their guys, but I'm kind of going to take that gamble here. I'm going to say Wes Lee loses.
Nice. Astrid, I know you love the Rascals. Which Rascal comes out on top?
Oh, gosh. Let me just say, either way, no matter what, I feel like this match is definitely going to be a banger. So that's what I'm looking forward to the most, more than anything about who wins, because I'm just stuck on this one. Because even as a champion, would you like to have a champion lose like this? And I don't know. I kind of hoped that maybe at the beginning of the show, Wes Lee would go to like Ava's office and say, well, he has a championship now. Why don't we put that championship on the line and make it a little bit more interesting, like for the match in itself, even if he loses? But I wonder, I'm like, could Trey be also a factor into this? We don't know if Trey's going to be accompanying Zach and maybe want some kind of revenge by helping Zach so that way Wes loses too. So for this one, though, I'm definitely stuck on a winner. But if I had to pick somebody, I'm going to go with Wes.
I've been hung up on the idea of there has to be at some point somebody holding somebody else's championship in this partnership. I've been saying it since Jordan showed up and we found out about this partnership. At some point, to make this the most successful it can be, a WWE talent has to hold the TNA championship, or a WWE or a TNA championship. A TNA superstar has to be holding the WWE championship. This is a perfect opportunity to do that with a title that just changed hands. He's coming in banged up and bruised after an Ultimate X. The perfect opportunity to have Wes Lee defeat him, say, for that championship. I don't think it's going to ever get put on the line. I think it might end up with a second match in TNA. I think Wes Lee wins this, earns himself an opportunity at a future TNA taping, because they only tape 2 weeks at a time, if I know correctly now. So I think at not the taping that they're doing now, but the next taping, I wouldn't be surprised to see Wes Lee versus Zach Wentz set up on that show to go ahead and build to that X Division championship match between the two of them. That you can then have Zach Wentz win. They get the whole even Steven. Nobody comes out looking better than the other. And everybody goes home happy, because this is obviously done great work for TNA. They've now sold out 2 pay-per-views in a row. They're having some of the best attendance at their shows in years. They're being talked about slightly more often than they used to be, which is a shame because they should be talked about more often in general. But the W partnership is definitely helping them in that regard. It is bringing eyes that may not normally watch it over there. But it's hard to bet against Wes Lee. This character is... How bad would it be to have the guy who's been sitting here talking about, I'm levels above you. I'm at a different level. I'm WWE superstar Wes Lee, and you're just a TNA wrestler. God, it'd be good to have that guy lose, but at the same time, for NXT's sake, it'd be real good to have that guy win too.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Wes Lee, but I'm a bit torn on this one. It's the one that I've been most torn on for a while. But I think it's Wes Lee.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts for anybody else on this before we get ready to move on?
I wanted to just add, if a title is involved here, I might sway to Wes Lee, but I don't know. I just think this is a great opportunity to kind of break that norm. And if Zach Wentz wins it, it's like, wow, a TNA guy beating, someone from WWE. If you like roll back even to Jordan Grace and Roxanne Perez, some people thought it was going to happen there, but I don't know. Something tells me it might happen here. So I'm excited to see how this one goes.
Yeah, I think the partnership's been good on a win-loss perspective because we'll talk about it in the main event, but we have Joe Hendry, who's been doing yeoman's work and picking up wins over NXT talent, making him feel like, the star that he is. And it's like, I think that there's room to have WWE talent, especially in NXT, go ahead and take an L to a TNA talent. I think that there's no shame in that because WWE has made this clear from the beginning that this is a joint partnership and not just an opportunity to take all your gold, bring it to our show, and then show up on your show and say bad things about your product just to give you money. I can't imagine what company would do something like, no, I'm just kidding. But, what company would do that to poor TNA? Never. Ed, stop talking bad about AEW. We're talking about NXT.
Yes.
Speaking of people I can talk bad about, Roxanne Perez taking on Jaida Parker. Oh, I love trash talking Roxanne Perez, but she is as good as she claims to be. She is, unfortunately, just that damn good. She is the prodigy. As me and Ashton had a discussion with, if the awards would be giving out right now at the end of August, she probably is the WWE Women's Superstar of the Year. It's a real hard argument to sway from. It's sad that this is such a foregone conclusion as it is, but Jaida Parker is not winning this match under any circumstances. She's going to eat an L here. She's going to have a fantastic showing. Roxanne Perez is going to make her look like $1 million. And as I said, for what feels like 3 premium live events in a row, Julia is going to walk out after this match is over at the top of the stage. They teased it again this week with somebody that they don't recognize backstage. It was a taped episode, so Julia was already still in Japan at the time. She is now back stateside. She is going to be available for this. Julia will confront Roxanne Perez at the end of this match, and it will set up Halloween Havoc, Julia versus Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's Championship. I've said it for 3 premium live events. At some point, I've got to... Miss T?
It's good.
I agree with you. This one pains me. I'm a huge Jaida girl. I do like Roxanne also, but huge Jaida Parker girl, and it just pains me because I really would love to see Shawn Michaels throw us a bone like he did with Ethan Page out of nowhere. This would be amazing for her. I think she has the it factor. She has that grit. But like you said, we know what's coming down the line for Roxanne, and I'm excited for that too. And I do think this will be a great experience for Jaida Parker. We've seen them do similar things with other superstars in the past, and I can't wait for her time. But for now, it's Roxanne's.
Miss T, just because we've talked about it and we talked so glowingly about it, have you seen her interview promo from this week's NXT that she cut? Because that was one of the best Jaida Parker segments that I've ever seen.
Yes. Oh my God. I loved it. Even that slap to Roxanne, like it was amazing. This girl, there's no denying it. There's some superstars you just look at and you're like, yeah, they're going to be somebody. And she's definitely already somebody, but going to be even bigger in the future.
Yeah. Miss Astrid, I know that you love both of these women, but one of them more than the other. You're gonna stick with Roxanne. You're gonna go with the rest of us and say that Roxanne's gonna win. Or you're gonna jump out on that ledge.
Well, first, this is a warning, Bobby. At the 21-minute mark or 20-minute or so, you're gonna clip that moment that Ed was talking positive about Roxanne. Please, I want that to short later on. Thank you very much. And we put it on repeat as well. Yeah, I'm sticking with my girl Roxanne. I love Jaida and I love how much she's grown, and I know she's gonna continue growing. But this is definitely not her time to be champion. Roxanne is definitely keeping that championship. She drops it to Stephanie or to Julia, most likely Julia though. But at the same time, I'm glad she's opportunity because her working with Roxanne is probably the most experienced out of anybody in NXT in the women's division. So it's great that Jaida gets to learn from her, and I feel like she's gonna take advantage of the opportunity here. Are they gonna put a great match? Of course. It's like I have no doubt in my mind about that. So I feel like it's the only downfall about Jaida being involved in this match is the aspect that we know that she's most likely losing it. But again, it's gonna have to be a great experience for her, and excited to see what they both decide to do and how this is going to play out if we do get that appearance that Jaida was talking about, whoever was off screen, that she said is not from the USA, which is exactly the 3 people that signed very recent, none of the Americans. So that doesn't help us at all. So looking forward to whatever happens here. And yeah, I'm excited for the women's division has is basically in this like second half of the year between all these 3 signings plus the current roster. I feel like they're going to create such magic, even better, even more than they have already.
Yeah. And again, this is none of us are talking. I love Jaida. Like I said, I think this match should propel Jaida Parker into a feud with Kelani Jordan somehow, some way that gets her that Women's North American Championship so that she can continue to develop, more quickly. Let's see what that star presence looks like with the championship around her waist. I think it'd be good for OTM in their development to have Jaida Parker as that front figure with a championship around her waist, get them back into the tag team championship division picture. There's a whole lot of good that can come out of this match. It's just sad that with all those signings, like Astrid talked about, that this is such a foregone conclusion. Because if it worked for Stephanie, if it weren't for Julia, if it weren't that Delta's probably coming in at some point in the near future, I might pick Jaida Parker in this match. She's the type of person who I could see an overconfident Roxanne Perez losing to without all of the other outside things going on. So this has been built just the right way that this is a place where Roxanne would lose the championship if it weren't for X, Y, and Z going on behind the scenes that we've all been told about. And that's what makes this sad. But Jada's going to get some much needed main event spotlight, because I think had it not been for the moving parts of the main event, this match might have main evented this show. Mm-hmm. Speaking of moving parts in the main event, by the way, all 3 Roxanne Perez's, as we expected, but all 3 with much love to Jaida Parker. Joe Hendry. We believe in Joe Hendry in this house. Do you believe in Joe Hendry, Miss T?
I do. I do believe in him, and I think that this is the perfect opportunity to just give it to Joe, but something tells me I see a Trick Williams heel turn. I feel like Trick misses what was his. I don't know what chaos or how it's going down. I could see Trick being the cause of him losing, or somehow Ethan taking advantage of something. I don't know. But I want to say Joe wins this, and then maybe Trick does something, but something here doesn't feel right.
I think the missing piece of this that doesn't feel right to people, many people might have turned off NXT 3 seconds too early on Tuesday night. When all of the shenanigans went on in the ring, and Trick and Joe are dancing with the championship after they pinned Ethan Page 1, 2, 3. The camera cuts back to the entryway, and there's a Pete Dunne standing right there. And he looks at the camera and says, Trick, you got lucky tonight. You won't make it to Tuesday. Pete Dunne is going to eliminate Trick Williams from this picture. He's going to stop Joe Hendry from winning this, because if it wasn't for Trick Williams, Pete Dunne would have, in his mind, been in this position. So he's going to do something. He's probably going to give Joe a better end. Ethan is going to get the pin when the new referee comes out to count the 1, 2, 3. Joe's going to be given another opportunity. That other opportunity, as I've been saying in fantasy booking in my head for months, is going to be on the debut on the CW. And on that show, on October 1st, WWE has a history of loving to swap titles, big title swaps on new networks when they go to a new network. What bigger way than with CM Punk in the building in Chicago than to have TNA wrestler Joe Hendry become the NXT champion? He will not do it tonight. However, I do believe on October 1st, the debut on the CW, Joe Hendry becomes the NXT champion.
You know what? I think, Ed, you hit it on the money. I absolutely forgot about Pete Dunne. Okay, I'm so used to him doing double duty, NXT main roster. It's kind of hard to keep track of this guy sometimes, but I totally forgot about that too. Soon NXT moving to the CW, it makes complete sense, you know. So you might be on the money with this one. If Trick Williams is not in the mix somehow, nothing bad happens with him, I'm gonna change my opinion. I'm gonna go Ethan, and as you said, Joe Hendry will win it later on.
Pete Dunne technically worked triple duty this week, just for the fun of it. He took on Andrade in the Speed Championship match, which you can catch on the X, on WWE's Twitter thing. I love the Speed matches. I know 3-minute matches aren't for everybody, especially 5-minute matches. They've done a really good job making these matches semi-interesting. If you haven't checked it out, please go do. It's a fantastic thing. Astrid, do you believe in Joe Hendry, or do you believe that Joe Hendry is going to get screwed tonight?
This is another one. I don't know how I'm gonna do this much. I definitely do feel like Trick is definitely not gonna be a part of this equation. That was like something that I could think about from the beginning. I feel like Joe and Trick are gonna have a little fun with Ethan at the beginning, though, making it seem like he's gonna get a pin like real fast, the way they did it to NXT, something along those lines. But I do feel like Ed said, just a word that I know that Trick is not gonna be in this match for too long either. So I had that already in my mindset. But as much as I believe in Joe Hendry and I love the dude and I love him to death, I cannot bet against my egomaniac here, and I have to stick my guns and say Ethan's going to retain somehow, because it's going to happen. So Joe, I believe in you, but I'll believe in you until a little bit later on. So I'll put it like that. But Ethan, you're definitely going to take it. I definitely don't see you losing, at least not yet. Maybe a little bit later on, but at least for this weekend, you'll be safe, to put it like that.
And of course, we can all thank the wonderful chef for this show, Mr. Chef Shawn Michaels over here. He's still cooking up greatness. He's still stirring that pot, making great things happen. Miss Thickums, we're going to go ahead and give you the big screen so that you can go ahead and tell all the people where they can find you and what shows you do and all the things that you do over on Twitch.
Well, first and foremost, thank you guys for having me. I'm Miss T, and you can catch me everywhere, literally Twitch, YouTube, social media. I'm under Miss T. You could check me out on Twitch as Miss Thickums, but also on YouTube as Miss T or Miss T_TV. And yeah, you guys could catch me doing all sorts of things. I cover sports, WWE, and so much more.
You're muted.
I had to do it once. I do it every show. I had to do it at least once, didn't I? Thank you so much for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. Miss Astrid, tell the people where they can find you the rest of this week.
Well, after watching this, you could definitely find us doing NXT post-show with Justin, aka the Wrestling Classic. So really excited to be chatting up with him after the show. And then again on Tuesday doing Taking Over, as we usually talk about NXT post No Mercy, and it'll be with this guy right here. But other than that, you can find me on my Twitter and Blue Sky as astridpizarro, my Instagram and Threads astridpizarro20. And if anything else will be my YouTube channel, which is just like my name, Astrid Pizarro. And you can subscribe and hit on that bell to be notified whenever I upload. And if you want to scan the QR code, you can go to the Debbie shop. All the sales and prices are all the same to you. But some of it will go back to me as an affiliate. That will go back to what we do as we make the graphics here in OLE. And then if you scan that QR code, you can go to my merch, which is the shirt that Mel and Mike are modeling there for you as well.
I have not nearly as much. You can find me on Twitter at edfries12584. You can find me on the Twitch at twitch.tv/edfries2002. Yeah, like Ashton said, Sunday night, join us for the post show with Justin, the Wrestling Classic. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun to talk about this once everything's gone on. We'll be back Tuesday night. Also remember that coming up in a few weeks, 2 weeks-ish from today, Agatha All Along, episodes 1 and 2 drop on September 18th. That means we'll be here talking about that once the episodes drop later on that night. Marvel Talk, me and Andres will be talking about the first 2 episodes. We will also be having weekly episodes of all of that show, so make sure you go ahead and join us. I cannot wait. That show is looking more and more interesting every little tidbit that I get. Thank you again to our guest, Miss T, for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. Everybody, enjoy No Mercy. Have a great time, and we'll see you all next time. Goodbye.
I am in misery.